Welcome back everyone. Hope everyone doing good. So as part of our Saathwic Infotech learning series, we are seeing about AWS at this moment. So we are in day 13. So initially it has been start to cover only like DevOps basic related AWS resources due to growing an interest with the subscribers. So I thought of like covering like as much as I can do with related to AWS. So in our past session, we have been seeing about AWS CloudWatch, and based on the metrics and based on the alerts, how do we generate a notification to user basis? Like mean to say that okay, how do you use SNS to send a notification in an email format? Okay, so if folks have not watched that, because that's very important session, if folks has not watched that, I just put it in a end of the video so that you can watch, or else I will try to add it as a card in the video itself. Okay, so if you guys are watching this, so that you can click on the card and directly watch that particular video first, and then you can continue to watch this. Okay, so in today's session, what are we going to do is that okay, we are going to see something in detail, okay, about CloudWatch metrics and logs and everything, and also I'm going to explain you about CloudTrail, because like as I mentioned earlier, I could not able to do that, so I will also help you with the CloudTrail. Okay, so let's try to understand, right? So let's see, assume that okay, this is going to be my EC2. Okay, this is my EC2 machine. Okay, and this is going to be my CloudWatch. Let me put as CW. Okay, if you look at, both are different services, both are different entities. Okay, so now the question comes in, hey Kumar, like how come EC2 was able to send the metrics to CloudWatch, the basic metrics, right? So for instances, let me see if I have service EC2 or anything open. Okay, let me create one EC2, right? So let me quickly do that. Before that, okay, let me create one, that would be great. Okay, let me put like test EC2 something, always read that. We'll use the existing security group. In advanced details, I'm not going to do anything for now, but sure I will do it something, but not now. Let's try to understand. Okay, so now we have a basic instance, let it come, right? So let it come in time. So how come this particular EC2 was able to send the basic matrices to CloudWatch? Okay, so here is the answer, right? So AWS internally configured few APIs, okay, to collect the basic metrics. Okay, that's how this connectivity is getting established and you are seeing it. Okay, okay, that's all fine, Kumar. So how, what are we going to do today now then, right? So because like AWS has established some connectivity where EC2 is sending to the CloudWatch with some API and everything. Now today we are going to see about how to do the same by sending the advanced log matrices and advanced logs. For example, in our earlier session we have implemented a web HTTP Apache service, right? So a web server. So if I want to understand the issues and understand the things happening with the web server, let's take as ideal scenario, right? So if being an web server admin, if your web server goes down, how do you understand that? How do you capture those issues? So where do you go and check those logs? Okay, is there any centralized way that okay, I can get the logs and visualize that okay, how many times my web server has gone down, or how many times like my web server restarted? So there are multiple things I can do, how many times something is got deployed to my web server, something like that, right? So all those informations are, again, if you go into this EC2, EC2 will have another service called HTTPD Apache. Let's make it as Apache Tomcat web server, right? Apache server, web server. So how this logs of web server goes here? So when you work on Jenkins, if you have installed and configured Jenkins on this EC2, so how do you see the logs of the Jenkins from this EC2? Either you need to log into the system and check the logs, or you can go to your CloudWatch and check the logs. So then, now question comes, right? How these logs goes to the CloudWatch? Okay, what is the process behind the scene? Okay, let me try to explain that in detail now. Let's forget about the default API part, because that is configured by AWS, which is completely hidden to us. Okay, where they provide only the few basic matrices which is needed for our EC2 to be available. So for example, if you go to monitoring session, so it provides only this much. Okay, it does not have much more information. For example, if you want to get more performance related insights, okay, as I mentioned, if you want to capture like Apache performance or Apache logs and everything, those details are not captured as part of your default API. Okay, great. So for example, and one more things also you can do, right? So maybe it is common scenario across all the observability tools which you use in day to day. Like even in last session I was saying something about you have like cloud Datadog. Okay, and we see something like Prometheus and Grafana. So let's put like Prometheus. So all these are external entities from EC2. They are like additional external services. So how do these particular Datadog or Prometheus get the data from EC2? Either it can be a CloudWatch or Datadog or Prometheus. How do they get the data from EC2? Okay, so that's the main question, right? So in most of the cases, if you want to share something, there should be some kind of a relationship existence between them. Okay, in our today's session I am not going to explain you about Prometheus and Datadog. If you guys really need it, I can even cover that too in my next sessions if needed. Okay, so let's focus only on CloudWatch. So how does this two get connected? So AWS provides something like CloudWatch agent, CA. Okay, this CloudWatch agent is an kind of an open source software which has been kept in GitHub. So it's basically present in GitHub. So anybody can contribute this project. If you find any issues with this CloudWatch agent, and if you want to do any improvise to this agent, everything can be done, because it's an open source project which is present in the GitHub and it's maintained by the community. Okay. So now how this connectivity and how, because moreover, right, we need to know what logs needs to be sent. Maybe like multiple softwares may be running on your system, but you are least bother about the others, but you want to capture only like few logs which has been like getting generated in this EC2. So how do you do all those configurations and everything? We will see today. Okay, so first, when you launch the EC2, it does not have anything. So first step is to install CloudWatch agent. You need to install CloudWatch agent on this particular machine. Okay, this CloudWatch agent will have its own configuration file. Okay, it will have its own configuration file. Using this configuration file, it will try to understand what are the other additional metrics you are looking into or you are interested to send to CloudWatch. So based on your configuration file configuration, it reads the metrics from this EC2 and transfer those data to your CloudWatch. Okay. So now, what are the metrics you can specify? So you can specify CPU related metrics, performance related metrics, network, disk IO, and also if you want to, as I mentioned, if you want to share any application logs to the CloudWatch, everything, log based metrics, everything you can do. Okay. We are good with this, right? Now again a question comes in. Hey Kumar, like you install a CloudWatch agent in this particular EC2, and how this EC2 can connect to CloudWatch? Does anyone able to answer this? If you guys are watching my sessions continuously, then you should be. If you have watched all my sessions. Okay, fine. So if you guys remember, I will put something here, S3. If you guys have watched my S3 video, I have said something like you need to assign an S3 role to this EC2 Okay, using this role, this EC2 can connect to this S3. EC2 will get all the privileges and access to connect to S3 and write anything or read anything. Okay, the same way, now we are not using S3, we are using CloudWatch. So for CloudWatch, what role we need? We need a CloudWatch role. Okay, which AWS already predefined, and if you want to edit, you can even configure, modify that. Okay, there is something like CloudWatch admin role or something. So which we will use to connect this EC2 to this CloudWatch, so that this EC2 can connect and write any information to the CloudWatch or read any information, so that user can access, the end user, right? It's like you and me can access a CloudWatch to read the logs and everything. Basically, it's a kind of a dashboarding mechanism, right? CloudWatch provides you the dashboarding mechanism by consolidating the logs from the EC2 and provide somewhere in a visualization format, and you can query the logs and you can keep logs for certain time into CloudWatch. Okay, I hope I have covered pretty much. Let's see how to do everything in an action. Great. So, now I have an EC2. You know, right, how to create a role, because I said EC2 needs a role to connect to CloudWatch. So first we will create a role. Let's go to the IAM. Go to roles. Okay, let me delete this, which I have created for my testing. Okay, create role. Basically, you guys know all what is this trusted entity and everything. So it's an AWS service. And to which service I am going to use this particular role? I am going to assume this role for EC2. So my EC2 is going to assume this role when I create, after creating it. Next. So what is the policy for that role needs to be used, right? I am going to add a CloudWatch. Okay, let me go to the documentation once again. CloudWatch installation and configuration in EC2. They have suggested to use some role. Let's go to. Okay, CloudWatch agent server policy. So you need to use this particular role. Yep. So you need to use this particular policy for this particular role. So if you look at this policy, it will have all the accesses like put metrics, describe the volumes, tags, put log events. So with this only, it can able to read and write the logs to the CloudWatch. So all these logs event, right? So it's allowing, and it's using the service manager also. Okay, great. So let's move on to the next. So what is your role name? CloudWatch log events. Okay, I'm forget about everything. So create this role. Yes, as we have seen all this already while creating the S3 access role. That's why I'm just going very fast here. Okay. So now let's go to our EC2. Okay, let's delete this instance because I'm not going to use this anymore. Okay, let's create an instance now. EC2 with CloudWatch agent. Okay. So Red Hat. Okay, people might have doubt like why Kumar you always go with Red Hat, because like most of the enterprises will use a Red Hat or Windows based server. I have never seen in my experience using Ubuntu or anything, but still few startups have been using Ubuntu also now, because again Ubuntu is also getting familiar now. Okay, that's the main reason I always go with Red Hat. And also you guys know like how to do specific configuration, because most of the AWS internal configurations comes by default with AWS machine images like AWS Linux. So if you are going with Red Hat or anything, you need to do explicit configuration. That's why like I always prefer Red Hat to my POCs. Okay, so like go to advanced. So in the instance profile, you are going to select your role so that this particular EC2 will assume it. Nothing I am going to do. I am going to do everything in manually in the server itself. Okay. So until this come, let's do some exploration in the document. So what does it says? First it says like attach an IAM role to an instance, which I are doing it now. Then it says download the CloudWatch agent package on the Amazon EC2 machine. Because as I mentioned, this particular package is an GitHub project. Okay, it's an open source. You need to download and install. If you are using Amazon Linux, okay, if you are using Amazon Linux, it automatically comes along with that. You just need to install. That's okay. If you are using any other flavor of Linux, you need to explicitly download that and install it. So they might have given the steps below somewhere. If not, I will show you. Okay, cloud create IAM role we have done. Yeah, so this is a step, right? So here they might have given you how to download the external package and install. So this is the links which they have provided the CloudWatch agent RPM. Let's see the let's wait for our instance to come up. Okay, our instance is ready now. Let's try to connect to that instance. So new session. Guys, try to practice along with my session so that you understand the complexity, and also like if you guys are not understanding anything, you can ask the questions. So if you just going through the videos, for sure I will say you will not remember why are we doing all those things. Okay, so okay, great. So I have an EC2 up and running. So let me do sudo yum update -i first. Let it get updated the packages. Okay, so let's go to the documentation now. So once the package is updated, I need to download the agent from this particular URL, CloudWatch agent. So let's wait. Okay, it may take like another 1 or 2 minutes. Yes, if you are looking for any use cases or any real-time interview questions which you have faced, just feel free to post so that I can cover those things along with my session. Most of the time, whatever the interview questions might be asked, I am just telling in my video itself. So if I am missing anything, then please try to ask it in the comment section so that I can cover. So these are the things which you expect in the interview questions, whatever things I have explained, right? So how do the log files are getting transferred from your EC2 to CloudWatch? Or they will ask you like, have you ever configured your log file configurations or log files to be visualized in Prometheus or in Datadog? So the concept is simple. Whatever it is, whether it's a Datadog or Prometheus or CloudWatch, there will be some agent or some daemon which will be running on your server, which is responsible for pushing the logs or pushing the metrics from your server to your observability tools, like it can be CloudWatch or Datadog or Prometheus. So you should be very very clear in that concept, because like I even seen people saying that okay, we just configure it, it will work, because they are because all these setups might be done by someone else, either by your architect team or your system admin team, or someone will be taking care of configuration and everything. You guys just use it, but there are many things behind that. So being a DevOps professionals, you should be aware of all those things so that you can better explain. So many times I have seen people like getting struck when you put all these kind of real time scenario based questions. Okay, that's where like I explained you initially, like how the communication is happening first because of the agent. Okay, once after installing agent, how the actual communication is happening because of the role which you are assigning to the EC2. Okay, it's always work with role based access. It's not just simply just connect and work, right? So you need the role, privileges and everything, so that it can write into the CloudWatch, or else it cannot do anything. Okay, and also if you guys are not clear with the policies or policy JSON or everything, just put in a comment so that I can explain in much more detail. I hope I have covered to my extent, or else I will cover in more detail also as a separate session, how to read through the policy JSON and everything, because that's again important part to know with respect to the interviews. Okay, because like if time permits, okay, if user is doing good, okay, we even open some policy document and ask them to explain like, okay, what are the privileges he used to get with the help of this policy document. So something like that also has been done in the past. So be sure that okay, you understand each and everything you do while following me. If you are not understanding, just post it as a question so that I can able to help you guys to better understand it. Okay, and also guys, like I am planning to cover all this session in the form of Tamil videos. If people are really interested to watch all these things in Tamil format also, just provide a thumbs up and comments. Based on the interest, I am planning to do Tamil series also for AWS, as a few of our friends have been already requested for that. So that's one more thing I thought of sharing with my subscribers. Okay, it may take few more seconds. Okay, let us try to understand what are the other steps you have to do. So once after you download, you will have your agent there. The next step, I mentioned you something about configuration file. So the configuration file will have all the details of things needs to be sent to the uh, CloudWatch. So if you go here, yeah, so here something like create and CloudWatch agent configuration file. If you open this particular document, it clearly explains that okay, what are the parts. So any agent configuration file should have a majorly three parts to it. Okay, to create, okay, there are two ways to do it, or either through wizard or through the manual configuration. I always prefer manual, where you have many comforts to do changes. So let's go here. So when you create any agent configuration file, it will have three parts. First part is like agent metrics logs. Okay, traces most of the time I don't use, because traces is something like which you integrate with your x-rays and do things like that, which I don't really use. But these three I will always have in my configuration file: agent, metrics and logs. Okay, so if you go here, they might have explained everything and they might have given you the sample configuration file. Okay, here, so this is going to be our configuration file. Let's try to understand this configuration file to certain extent. Okay, copy, new window, file, new file, sample cloud watch config.json. Okay, create. Okay, this is how your configuration file is going to look like. So it will have both, yeah. So from here, oh sorry guys, my recording got interrupted in between. Okay, so this is going to be your sample JSON file. So it will have majorly three parts. Okay, what are the three parts? So agent. Okay, so agent piece is like very important, where you define like okay, what is the interval this agent is going to send the metrics to the data. Look, for me, like okay, I will just put it as 5. So every 5 minutes this agent is going to send the metrics to your CloudWatch. And what is the default log file for this particular agent? Okay, you are installing on agent, right? What is the log location for that particular agent? This is the log file configuration, and this is again a metrics part. Okay, what are the metrics which you needs to be collected, okay, as part of your configuration. So you know, right, see, most of the metrics whatever we need or we have seen already, like CPU and everything. So if you still want to use all the metrics, you can use, or else you can update this one, right? So for example, the metrics collected CPU, whether do you need a CPU idle time, usage, okay, free, everything. So okay, before that, you guys might have a doubt, right? Okay, hey Kumar, like what are the metrics I can collect? Okay, there may be multiple things available. What are the metrics I can collect? Is there any guide or document which helps me to do that? Yes, I think somewhere here they have application monitoring. Yep, I think here. So they provide you like what are the metrics data that can collect. Okay, AWS services that publish cloud metrics, and also you can go to this one, not this one, sorry, publish metrics. Here go to EC2. Totally of EC2. Okay, 1 second. So it varies from Linux and this one. So if you go here, yep. So these are the metrics, right? So these are the detailed list of metrics which you can collect additionally from using the configuration file. Okay, there are many. Okay, by default it does only few. There are many metrics which you can configure. So whenever you guys get into any doubts, okay, like what are the things I can do, how much I can configure and everything, always refer to AWS documentation, because like AWS documentation is one point source where they keep updating based on their latest implementations. So that's one more important thing which you guys have to remember. Okay, okay, let's see where we stand with our EC2, right? Okay, so my EC2 got updated. So first step, I am going to download my agent, right? So if I want to download, I need a utility called wget. So let me install that sudo. Okay, I think it timed out. Sudo hyphen I. Okay, m install hyphen y wget. So we need to install our wget utility. So I have installed wget. So once I install the wget, the next step is to download the agent, right? So I were in some places. Okay, so I need to use this URL to download the agent. So wget. Okay, my agent is getting downloaded, because this RPM does not come default in RHEL server, but this RPM come default in Linux server. Okay, so once I download, okay, they are given right how to do wget and everything. So you need to install with this particular command. If you look at this CloudWatch, it's creating a user and it's creating a group for CW agent. So using this particular user and this particular group, it transfers and reads the file, and it should have like all the required privileges which is configured by this RPM itself. So nothing for us to worry. So the next step is to like configure the agent configuration file. So AWS, Amazon. Okay, so if you go here, so I generally have my agent configuration file in etc. Okay, view config.json. Okay, so what I am going to do is, so I have a agent file here. So if you want to keep this complete agent file, yes, no harm in doing it. Or if you want to change the agent file for the metrics, you can change it. Okay, for this particular video I am really least bothered about metrics, because I have shown you how to see every metrics in the earlier session also. Like for CPU, most of the metrics by default it comes in. If you want to configure additional, you can refer to the logs and do it. And also like for disk and all, like it says like monitoring like free and use spaces and everything, like for custom alerting. So for this particular today's session, I am really bothered about this logs. How do you send custom log details to CloudWatch? So by default, under collect list, so it says right, logs collected files. So under file selection, there is a array. Okay, there is a list where you can specify the details of the logs to be collected and sent to CloudWatch. So if you look at this particular configuration, there are two logs they are sending. So the first log is nothing but the default CloudWatch log itself. So if you need, you can use it or you can remove it. For instance, I don't want these logs to be sent there because it will occupy the space, and for data transfer I will be charged heavily. So I am removing this. Okay, so they are saying they have created some log called temporary log under logs directory called test.log. Okay, so what they are saying, from this test.log you read the changes and show it in the CloudWatch. Let's assume if this is your Apache log, whatever the logs getting added to this Apache log, you can see it in CloudWatch console. Okay, let me keep this everything same, copy it. So I'm going to add it here. So save it. So now if you remember my diagram, okay, I have my EC2, I have my agent, and I have my config file. So this config file will be used by my agent. So agent, I have config file and I have a CloudWatch, and this connectivity has been done through role. So this has been done through a role, right? So we have created a role and assigned to this EC2. Now everything is done. So my agent has been installed but not started. So you don't see anything flowing through CloudWatch. So let me go to my CloudWatch service now. So let me go to the service CloudWatch. So if you go to logs group, because we are sending the logs, right? Earlier we explored about alarm. Okay. Now if you look at, there is nothing because nothing is flowing into my logs group. Okay. So if you look at my here, I am saying when you collect a logs for this particular log files, my log file name is test log. The log group which will be getting created as test log, stream name is also test log. So when I start the agent, it should create a log group called test log, and it just keep flowing the logs into that particular log group. Let's see how things are happening, right? Okay. So now let's see how to start your agent. So there is a way to start your agent. CloudWatch agent configuration. Did I close that page? Yeah, here it is, right? Okay, how do we start your CloudWatch agent? This is a command which has been provided. Okay, this command fetch config file. Okay, wait. Start the CloudWatch agent from using the command line. Use this command line in CloudWatch system. No, not this one. Okay, for Linux and Mac OS, this is the one. Okay, copy this. So let's go to our EC2. So I have pasted it. If you look at the last option, right, it says like your configuration file needs to be given. So if you look at, it's like CloudWatch agent CTL is a utility which is going to work in behind the scene, and it says fetch the config. The option is like fetch config, and the resource which you are going to use is EC2, and the file which you are going to use is config.json, which is in my local etc path. So I am just running it in from etc. Okay, now if you look at, it says like, oh, okay, unable to scan config directory d with error, unable to pass JSON. So it looks like there is some JSON error. So CloudWatch agent already stopped. Okay, it's not started. So what is the error? I think this two below is causing the error. No, that's not. Agent closed getting here. Metrics is getting closed here, and the logs are getting closed here. So what are these two then? They should be the starting. Okay. So sorry guys, there was a typo while editing the config. So that might be the part of Windows command. So that might be the reason. I have removed the Windows part. So okay. So now if you start, it should say the JSON got parsed successfully and everything successful. So now if you go to your CloudWatch, okay, this process will be continuously running. Okay, and it's your responsibility. Okay, now you guys might have a question. Hey Kumar, like now I have say configured a CloudWatch with a lot of steps. So what happens after my patching? Okay, so all those things we are going to cover with CFN. When we work on CFN, we will ensure that whatever the system state before the reiteration part is managed or maintained. Okay, so that's where like we need to maintain everything manually with our own effort by creating the cloud formation templates. I will explain that in our upcoming session. For now, this particular process needs to be continuously running on your EC2 so that the data is getting transferred to your CloudWatch. So now if I refresh my CloudWatch group, okay, it's not coming. Why? Why? Okay. Okay, probably let's wait for another few minutes because we have set the time as 5 or 10 minutes. Okay, 5. Let's wait for 5 more minutes. Okay, probably I understand the reason. So, right now what we mentioned in our CloudWatch, we ask is to manage this particular log file which is under logs directory. So for now these log files might not be present there. Okay, sorry, not that piece. Okay, I am asking is to monitor this particular log file. This log file might not even present in my server. So let me try to create that particular log file so that it will create the logs. Cd logs. Does it created anything? No. See, if you look at, I don't have any logs file in this particular path which asks it to monitor. Okay, so I need to create this log file here. So let me touch this log file. Okay, I am saying echo started creating dummy log. Okay, I am going to append this test.log. So once I do this, I think the log should flow now because the log files is there. It's got created and it should flow by this time. Okay, still it's not there. Let's wait for a few more minutes. Yep. So if you see, once I created the log, because like you know, right, I am planning to monitor this log, but the log is not there. Then how come it comes into our CloudWatch, right? So now I have added this log. So let's see if I am seeing this content in my CloudWatch. So this is a log group. If you go to the log group, there is something like log stream. So you have given the name of everything in our configuration file. So log group name is test.log and log stream name is test.log. Okay, this one is going to maintain your log information. If you open this log stream, you see started creating a log. Okay, so For example, if you see, I am going to add this one more statement here, echo checking if log is getting updated. Okay, within few seconds you should see that. Okay, again we need to wait for this interval, because this is the interval which defines at what time your logs are getting refreshed. So for me it's 5 minutes. So okay, it's even came earlier little. So you see, right, checking if logs are getting updated. Okay, so with this, right, okay Kumar, now I have logs are getting stored here. Now what is my next step? Okay, when you have a logs in any kind of log monitoring tools or any dashboarding tools, you can create insights. Okay, there is something like log insight. So in your log insight, you can sort your fetch your logs, and based on your messages, timestamp, message, log stream, log, and everything, and visualize that. Okay, so that's the main objective. So you will see how many times this error has happened and everything. So as we are testing it, I think I cannot get much thing. Okay, so my log does not have much input, so you don't see some visualization. At least I can see it's not picking up anything, because my log is of not this particular format. Okay, so in general, if you are doing any application related logs, you will see everything. Okay, so live trial is nothing but, okay, if you have any logs which is like getting appended in the server and you want to monitor for some process. For example, someone reports saying that, okay, hey Kumar, like my logs, like there was some error happening whenever I run this job. Okay, you might have faced this issue, right? They will say, Kumar, when I run this job, there is something happening behind the scene which is causing my server to crash or my application to get restarted automatically. So if you want to understand what's happening behind the scene, if you have access to the server, you can either go to the server and see the logs, or you can watch in this live trail. Okay, so for example, if I update my log here, echo updating it to view in live trail. So whatever things which is getting added there, it get automatically printed here. Okay, so that's the beauty of live trail. It will take some more time to print, because like with the interval what we set is of that kind. Okay, I will set this also, log stream, nothing, add filters, pattern cases, optional info, apply. Okay, I think it came. Okay, I'm doing it again. Okay, what are the terms? For example, if you see live, okay, you can just filter with that so that it will also show. Yep, see, it says something with the message live has come in. So for example, if I add something like, okay, echo error, this will not get printed in your live trail, because I have filtered based on live, right? So only this filter will show you. Okay, nothing much will come here. So like this, you can see the events, okay, lively in live trail. Okay, if you want to see the complete log, you can go and check the streams. You will see all the logs here. Okay, you can query, you can build visualization, so much more thing you can do. Okay, and also like if you have added the metrics, right, so all these metrics will come here. Okay, whatever the metrics which we generated till now, all the metrics will come here. Sorry, here. See, if you see, it says like my custom namespace. See, my custom namespace is the one which I have given as my agent configuration. Where it is? Okay, here it is, right? So this is my custom namespace for my dashboard. So metrics collection, measurement, resource, net statistics, right? Everything we collected. So all these things will be here. So image ID. See, these are the image ID and these are the metrics name, net stat established. So if you click on that, you will see. So like this, you can do everything. Okay, you can query all these metrics. Okay. So it's all in RNs what we really need to monitor. Okay, AWS provides detailed monitoring and detailed log scraping. If you want to do, you can do all these things with CloudWatch. Okay, if you guys have any doubts related to the CloudWatch, please feel free to comment in the comment section. Okay, we will do that. Okay, now let's move on to the cloud trial. Okay, there is something like cloud trial. Now you should have a question. This is again an interview question, guys. I'm going to say, okay, they will ask you, what is the difference between cloud trial and cloud watch? Okay, what you see in CloudWatch? In CloudWatch, provide you the status of the metrics. So you are monitoring your services of AWS. Okay, you can monitor the services which provides you the metrics detail. It can be auto scaling, or it can be EC2, or it can be anything for that namesake which provide you the statistics information or service information. Sorry, metrics information. So the services, whatever the service which provides you the metrics, you can view those with CloudWatch. Okay, if EC2, the memory, disk, network statistics, IO, input, output, IOPS, everything you can see. And again, if you want to do log monitoring also, you can just configure the logs and see it in the CloudWatch. So then what is for cloud trial? Cloud trial is for auditing your events happening in AWS. Okay, so CloudWatch is specific to services. Okay, cloud trial is an event happening in AWS. So what are the those events which you can expect to be happening in AWS? When if someone is logging into AWS, someone is creating an EC2, someone is deleting the EC2. Okay, someone, whatever the action you do by logging into AWS, either by CLI or console or anything, everything will be getting tracked. Especially all the user activities will be tracked in CloudTrail. Hope you guys understand that. Okay. So CloudWatch is specific to service. CloudTrail is specific to AWS itself to track the events. Okay, let's go to the CloudTrail. Because CloudTrail is pretty simple as that, nothing much. Okay, so create a trail. Okay, again, CloudTrail is free, but CloudTrail to store the events is charged. Why it's getting charged? It's going to create an AWS bucket. See, it says that, right? Trial log bucket folder. It means that it's going to create a bucket in my S3, okay, for storing the trial information, means that event information, so that I will be charged for transfer of data between S3 and CloudTrail. Okay, guys. So I will be deleting it immediate after the creation of CloudTrail. So watch it very quickly. Okay. Usually teams will have only one CloudTrail because it will be managed by enterprise teams. Means that your overall systems administrators will manage this. Okay, this will give you a complete information about your login, logout, service created, everything. So let me create a trial. Okay, now CloudTrail has been created and I have an S3 bucket. Okay, which has all the details. So let me go to my CloudTrail, refresh it. So now I got a dashboard. Okay, if you click on this, you see, right, already it started flowing some information. So start live trail, start query, start live trail, everything. So it will say all the management events should be copied and everything will come here. So this is the trial location, right? Your log location. If you click on this, it goes to my S3 bucket. So where all the events will get saved in the form of, see, CloudTrail bucket folder has been created. So nothing has been done so far, right? So what I do, let me log out, because I am the only one using the system, so I'm not getting any trials as of now. Let me sign out from the system. So I'm going to log me back. Okay, let me pause for a while. I'm resuming my recording, so I have just entered my email ID. Next. So okay, now if you go and look at my trial, it will say like, okay, I logged out, I logged in and everything. Okay, you see, right? I created a cloud trail, it added some bucket policy, it added some privileges to it to put the event in the buckets. Now I started login. Okay, I logged in, so it says start logging. So which is the user I used? I use the global admin user, so it's a root user which I used to log in. So it says I have logged in. So for example, if I go and delete my resources, okay, let me go to my services. Let me go to CloudWatch. Okay, before CloudWatch, let me go to EC2, because like the data is getting flown from there only, right? So let me terminate this instance, because I don't want to use this. Okay, the same way I will go to CloudWatch. See, all these tools, right, like CloudTrail and all, it's come used for governance. CloudTrail and CloudWatch are used for governance purposes. Okay. So we have log groups getting flown from that particular EC2. I'm just going to delete those logs also. Okay, this is a log group. Action, delete log group, delete. Okay, great. So now I have deleted whatever the things I have done. Let me go to my CloudTrail. Let's see what are the actions it got recorded. Okay, still now it recorded only the terminate instance, which I have done. Still it has to capture about like the log group which I have deleted. Okay. So hope you guys understood, right? So it capture everything, whatever the thing which I have done so far. Okay, I have created the role, everything it will capture. I have attached a role policy. I have terminated earlier. Now I have also created something, created log stream, terminate instance. So everything it will capture and provide an report to the system admin, so that they can able to check what is being going on into my AWS account. Probably this report will be provided to the account owner, so that they ensure if someone is doing any suspicious activity or doing any mischievous activity onto the account. So that's pretty much more about CloudTrail. So basically, too much more about it, right? For now, CloudTrail will be like specific to the region and specific to one account. So if you want to work on like multiples region and store all these events in the form of tables to do a query and everything, then we will create something like CloudTrail Lake, which has been created newly. You can use that for your deep research purposes. Okay, you can store, like you can decide like how long I need to store and everything. Okay, that's where you see, right, create Athena table. If you create this table, it's getting stored into the tables also, where you can do querying and everything you can do. Okay, I hope I covered as much as I can for today. If you guys have any doubts, anything needs to be understood or differences, okay, between like CloudWatch and CloudTrail, anything you want to know, just put that in the comments. And if you guys feel that, okay, if you have learned at least a single concept which you are not ever so far, okay, just give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, which keeps motivating me to create such new contents for you. Okay, thanks for watching, guys.